It's the foreheads, da 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 da. We're in our rooms and we're talking about AI. It's the foreheads, da 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 da. We're in our rooms and we're talking about AI. It's the foreheads, da 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 da. We're in our rooms and we're talking about AI. It's the foreheads, da 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 da. We're in our rooms and we're talking about AI.
Greatest disaster on the internet.
It's the foreheads. Da ba da da do.
Hello, everybody, and welcome back to the greatest disaster on the internet. It's the Foreheads Podcast. I'm Goldenboy. You got Reinforced, Sideshow, and Bren. We're here to talk your ear off about all the cool things that are happening in the world. Maybe. I don't know. We'll figure it out.
Are there any cool things happening anymore, Alex?
Well, I'm an award winner. I'll let you guys know right now. Now, here's the deal. Real talk, okay? Because I don't want to. My award kind of snapped.
We said cool things,
but I'm an award winner. Unfortunately, as I was flying, though, it kind of broke my award. So you know what are you gonna do? That's just the way of the world. Huge shout out though to the Tempest Awards. That was actually pretty awesome.
What award did you win?
So I won the. Let me grab the single base here.
I'm sure it wasn't shoddy quality. It was just you mishandling.
No, it was like this award was like really good. It's just I've never won anything in my life, right? So I don't know how to transport things. So I just put it in my carry-on, and then I arrived in LA for this like random COD event that I was doing, and then it broke. Which I worked with Rich Campbell, by the way.
I saw that.
Yeah. That dude is probably one of the funniest guys I've ever worked with in my life.
It's also a bit weird, but
oh, dude, he shows up. Okay, we're like, oh wait, the award I won, by the way, Ambassador Award for Personality of the Year. There you go. I cried during my speech. Thank you, Seltzer. Moving on. So, Rich Campbell, this freaking guy, shows up, and he's wearing a Gucci shirt, like this like silk Gucci shirt, and the shorts that match it with it just honestly his
matching
whole
the same color,
the same exact pattern. It wasn't color, it was pattern. It was like the same thing. And then they asked us if we could put on these Mountain Dew shirts to say Game Fuel on it. He pulls me to the side and he's like, they're asking me to take off this Gucci for Mountain Dew. I was like, I guess. I was like, man, I have to take off my H&M shirt. You know, obviously it's
sure, big loss for you. Big loss.
Big challenges that we're all facing here. So yeah, so it was awesome working with Rich. He's a good dude.
Have you really never won an award before?
I've never won anything in my life.
So
ever.
I got an award. I was an award-winning caster before you.
No, you were not.
What do you mean? I literally was. I won an award.
Fake award.
It's not.
I can make my own reinforcements awards of the year. It doesn't make me an award winner.
Reinforcements award.
I don't think Josh made the award up.
Yeah, I didn't invent it.
Well, it was very
UK
close
Esports,
to it.
UK Esports, right? Which pretty much shouldn't exist. But,
exactly. Yes.
But
yeah, it's the UK Esports.
Listen,
I remember that.
You got to live your life just expecting to receive no acknowledgement. You know. Just that's the way of the world, you know. I know I'm a bad bitch, and I know that I'm a mad cunt, and I know that I'm good at my job.
Okay.
I don't need the outsiders to tell me that I'm doing a good job, baby, because I know I come in, I kill the game, I define.
You're also 60% banana.
I define.
I saw your tweet earlier. It's like the what is the original lyric? It's like I took a DNA test.
I just took a DNA test. Turns out I'm 100% that bitch. Yeah, I got boy problems. That's a human in me.
Oh, wow.
Okay, great.
Okay.
But you said you were 60% banana.
Yeah, I don't think that's true.
What do you mean? You linked a source.
Yeah, I was reading up on it, and it was like apparently we share a lot of our genetic makeup with a lot of very common things in the world, like plants and whatnot. which would obviously also...
Isn't most of that just
bananas?
Useless random code?
It's just like gene replication and controlling cell cycles and helping the cells divide.
Right.
Isn't that water?
Wait,
basic cell functioning.
No, he doesn't mean the same like stuff in his body as a banana. He means DNA, like the same genome, the same genetic components as a banana.
Same stuff that makes us
Brent's
tick.
going to be at a supermarket, see a guy carrying a bunch of bananas, and be like, "No, my cousins!
What are you doing with my cousin?"
What if bananas?
Bananas
has consciousness.
I thought about this the other day. I thought about
bananas had a conscience.
Yeah.
Not bananas necessarily, but like because right? Like fruits and shit are like they're living things.
They're living things, yeah.
Flowers and stuff. They're living things, and then we just pluck them. Yeah. What if like when we do that, they're secretly like like dying.
But they don't have brains.
Can't say anything because they don't have mouths.
Yeah, they don't have brains, dude.
No, maybe they
don't have brains. They don't have nerves.
Brain.
They can't feel things.
What if they had plant brains, but the government did their best to convince us that they don't have plant brains?
No, it's a very reasonable conspiracy.
What if vegetarians are actually killing vegetables?
Or what if their brains are so separate from ours that we don't even know to look for them in the first place?
That's what I'm saying. Bren, you get me, Poppy.
What if life has evolved and their brains are actually just kind of like based in a part of the plan that we don't really know the purpose of it, but it's actually there and it's controlling.
But you could take a plant and you could look at every single part of the plant.
You can't. You can't see the insides, bro.
You can't.
Yeah, what if there's stuff in there, but it just works? We think we have an idea of how it works, but that's not how it works.
Well, that will be a huge shock for the future.
That there are living plants, but they don't have a brain, so they get the fulfillment of living alive, but they don't have a brain, so they don't have to like overthink things. They don't have anxiety. They just live.
They don't get the fulfillment of life. The fulfillment of life comes from your brain.
Yeah.
So but if they're living,
that just means they're not a rock.
You need to think of
what if rocks are living?
Oh, get out of here.
You need to think of basic plants and insects as just AI that nature has developed, because that's what it comes down to. They have a set of functions or whatever that they run through on repeat until new variables come into their system.
I feel like we need a gong and we just ring it every time we hit AI and we mark down the time and we're like, all right, well, that took us 7 minutes to start discussing AI this time.
But I'm being real though, right? You can easily program a robot fly to act the exact same way a normal fly does. The fly has a process where it will fly around until it senses food, in which case it will examine the environment by landing on random objects in the area of where it detects a scent, and then begins to slowly try and digest whatever it lands on until it hits the bullseye, which is a bit of food.
Is that how flies work?
I don't know, but
I mean, I can imagine that would be the process. Yeah,
but you could easily program. You could program a robot to do that.
Yeah, I mean, well, you can trick fireflies just with an LED. You can flash the LED in the right pattern, and they'll come and try and mate with your hand, which sounds a lot more romantic than it actually is.
Yeah, it doesn't mean you can replicate that behavior.
You can trick their brains because they only have tiny little bundles of neurons that act.
Sure, yeah. What if you really haven't had sex in like a super long time?
We can trick humans too, but we can't recreate humans.
You can't trick humans in that exact way. You can't do it in such a basic manner. Like if I flash a light in front of Alex's face, I can't get him to try and fuck me. Otherwise, it'd be very easy to.
There's too many complex.
That's like high school in a nutshell.
But if there was a higher being, and it just wanted to fuck with us, it definitely could. The same way that we are able to decipher the things that make lower life forms tick. The way that we can flash an LED, or we can, get the Pavlovian response with dogs, things like that. We just know how they tick. If there was a higher being, I reckon they would be so complex that they could just distill down a lot of our variables.
Oh yeah, we only think our brains are complex because we don't know how they work.
Right.
Just think of everything as stardust.
So imagine
exploded stars.
We might
become nitrogen.
I want to ASMR stream with Johnny just talking like that, telling me about stardust.
We might be being taken advantage of by higher beings. We don't know.
Dude,
How would you
Just
tell?
enjoy life.
I'm being taken advantage of by corporations. They're higher beings.
The mega corporations.
The
I
mega
agree.
corps.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Speaking
that's why we
of
had
the mega corporations. Got to defer to the reviews because that's the only way that we're going to get money. So
dope.
That's the transition I'm going for. We just want to let you all know, support the mega corporations and subscribe to us on YouTube. We're at 5,200. It's so weird. On YouTube, it says 5.21K. Guessing it's 5,210 subscribers we're at right now. Why put the K? Just put the 0. I don't get it, YouTube. You make no sense. So go there, subscribe to us. We want to get to 10K subs. There you go.
I think one of the best parts about this podcast is Sideshow's ability to name them.
Name what?
Oh, dude.
They're just funny titles.
Every title.
Name the
great.
title. Right.
Everyone is great. Like, look at this.
Yeah.
Goldenboy's Key to Love, right? Bren's Evil Side. Nando's versus Gloss Grill. Those aren't really that good.
Yeah, no, those aren't great.
I've taken a break from
Barbershop
drinking.
Maze and Childhood Memories.
Can I read out a review?
Yeah.
We actually got 2 newish reviews. One literally left today, one yesterday. Also, if you guys want to head on there at the Apple Podcast, review us. And we're almost at 150 ratings. And I was talking to my buddy Brian Altano. In case you guys don't know Brian Altano, he's the host, producer, and writer for IGN. Really smart dude, great DJ as well. And I was asking him, what do I need to do to get famous? These are the things I asked Brian, right?
I thought you said you were already mega famous.
Well, no, I mean, what do I need to do to get us as a collective famous? Because I care about the 4 of us, right? Because I'm in it. If it was just the 3 of you, like Plat Chat, I don't give a fuck. But like, because it's the 3, the 4, whatever.
We're a collective, yeah.
Apparently, he said that, and I'll let you read the review in a second, but I just gotta say this: that apparently they removed the gaming category on Apple Podcasts, and because of that, we all got thrown into a subcategory under leisure.
Okay, leisure.
So yeah, leisure. Whatever.
Wait, why did they remove the gaming?
I don't know, because gaming was a huge category on.
It says it still exists on Chartable.
No, so yes, it is, but again, it is a subcategory. Like, I'm gonna pull it up right now. I feel like when I look at my phone, I'm like,
oh, so we're being thrown in with the big boys.
Yeah, so we're in the deep end. So we're under leisure, right? And then when you go into leisure, then it goes into a subcategory here that it's under games. Apparently, we are a gaming podcast or video games.
Gotcha.
Joe Rogan, we're coming for you. Watch out.
Yeah, and apparently Joe Rogan's topping this category too, which is absolutely bullshit. I think he's doing something. Lies,
games?
Deception. Yeah, dude, he's like the top of every category on Apple Podcasts. It's ridiculous. So yeah, Joe Rogan, we're coming for you, fam.
Take down the 1%.
That might be because he got John Carmack.
Whatever,
recently.
down with the 1%.
Anyway, that's what.
Anyway, I got a review here from Curvy Mage. This was yesterday. The title is 4 Large Craniums Explore the Universe. Giving us a bit too much credit there, but we'll let it slide.
Well, large cranium just means big head. It doesn't mean big brain.
But also, I was mainly pointing at the Explore the Universe section, because the only thing we're exploring is the same circle of topics over and over again on repeat. But it reads as, should one wish to feel their IQ increase, listen to some guy begin yet never finish rants on AI, or simply have a great time, they must listen to this podcast. Until this podcast began, I was seriously lacking in self-defecation stories, AI talks, absolute papega, yet somehow forehead conversations between the most unlikely of people. The amazing cast of Fish Killer, Ice Cream Pants, Yellow Boy, and Johnny gifts us with everlasting laughs and couldn't get less than a 5-star rating if they tried. Thank you all. I don't know why my accent sort of devolved into an upper English class accent, but here we are. I'd love a little pet corgi.
I love it. Or perhaps a curvy mane.
Why is Johnny the only person without the nickname?
Oh, it's like the Florida Mayhem shit all over again. They don't put any respect on my name, fam.
Johnny gets no nickname.
I also maybe they respect your name so much that they gave you your name.
Should I just rename to Johnny instead of Reinforce?
Maybe. How would you spell Johnny? Larson. Would you spell it with an H or just with a G? Just with an
I've had this question so many times, and I don't spell. Okay, so it's complicated.
All right,
it's
very complicated.
It's like AI all over again. So Johnny with an H is supposed to be if you spell Jonathan with John.
True. Yes.
Whatever. But I spell it without the H, but I still like the H because I have an H after T. So it's Jonathan TH, which means I should be Johnny, right? But I don't have an H before my N, so therefore it should be Johnny without the H.
So you want to preserve the H from the thun part of Jonathan, so you're going to put it between the O and the N.
Well, it's my name, isn't it?
Yes, I suppose.
He's not wrong, dude. He's not wrong.
I mean, at that point, then why not call yourself Hohen and just put H's everywhere? Just
it's not even remotely close.
Just let him take over.
I have none of those letters, or well, few of them, but only one in my name. It's not even. It's a one-letter difference.
You should be Jonathan.
I think Johnny looks cooler with the H, and I want to be cool, so therefore I want to preserve the H.
That's fine.
So we have determined that from now on, when I'm questioning whether or not I put the H, because sometimes it's been like that for me, where I don't put the H, I just put Jonny.
Wait, so you spelled Jonathan with an
no, he doesn't.
H's.
Because that's why it doesn't make sense.
No, but in my mind, Johnny with an H is like someone what you would call like some teenager or whatever, and I'm like, okay, well, it's sort of disrespectful, but I'll do it. I'll do it because I'm.
Whoa! Let's unpack that one, okay? Because we've been saying this for years, and actually, it was Puckett that was the one that started this whole thing to begin.
No. It's been like that since like Too Good picked me up in Sweden. He started calling me Johnny. Yeah, but like Johnny without the H is like, oh, that's a very small child. That's how I see the names.
Yeah, I can see that actually. I agree with you. The H adds
maturity to the name.
It does.
Yeah,
the H
bullshit.
The H because it's so stupid. Like you wouldn't say to a child, "Your name is Johnny." When you write your name, you must include this silent H in the middle of it. They'd be like, "Papa." They wouldn't know what you were saying. But the point is, you would try and teach a child how to write their name very phonetically. So the H is like, because it's so useless, it must be more mature.
No, but the H it's pronouncing it because it's jaw.
I think the bigger issue here is that you're all
pronounced.
The biggest issue is that you're all letting your names define you when you should be defining what your names mean.
Fuck off, Bren, with this bullshit.
Get out.
This is the biggest issue.
Bren and Hook.
Don't let your names define who you are.
Your name is literally your gamer tag.
Yes. Because I have decided to let my actions carry what my name means. When people hear the name Bren and Hook, they think, holy moly, that guy is a guy I want to party with. That's a dude I want to hire for my event. Because we've heard the rumors.
Why do you go by Bren then? Why not Brennan?
Sometimes I go by Brennan in formal settings.
Yeah, why do you let your name dictate whether you're formal or informal?
I like to have a casual connection with everyone I meet because it implies that I don't take myself seriously.
At that point, just call yourself B-Dog.
Johnny, your response.
Yeah, well, my informal name is Johnny. It's not my formal name.
I just like Bren. It was a name given to me by my family, and that's what it means to me. It's an Irish name.
Oh, a name given to me by my family was Rat Boy, but I don't go by that.
Why was that not your game tag?
I don't know, because
you look a bit like a rat.
Boy, you rat boy.
Because it was supposed to be offensive. But it was given to me by my family, and I think that the person that gave it to me still loves me. It's possible, who knows? But yeah, I wouldn't deliberately go by that.
There's a lot going on here in this episode. A lot of feelings and emotions. Josh, your turn. The floor is yours. Who's calling you Rat Boy?
My auntie called me Rat Boy. My auntie and my cousin used to not just call me Rat Boy, but used to go Ratty whenever I would be whenever I would enter the room with them. Why? Probably because it amused them, I would say, would be the answer to that question.
I just think they're simple-minded. like most people in your clan of family, I think they were probably at the lowest rung of the ladder. and they just got enjoyment out of calling you rat boy. There's not even normally humor has to tie into something.
It did, I think it tied into something. I think I think it was probably I ate some food off the floor or something and thought it was really funny. And so that
happens, bro. 5-second rule, motherfucker. Don't act like you special, Johnny.
The 5-second rule is not a thing.
I saw him licking the floor.
Which kind of person invented the 5-second rule, by the way? Because it's one of the stupidest pervasive rules that there could possibly be. Was it always just supposed to be a joke?
Jesus.
No. But doesn't it make sense that over time more bacteria would gather over a food item?
He dropped the fish and he was like,
if I drop my sandwich in a piece of shit, it's going to be as bad when I eat it compared to 5 seconds.
Isn't it? That's different, man.
I don't think it is.
Why go to the extreme for everything?
All right, if I drop it and there's some dirt on it, if I drop it and there's a
if you drop it on the kitchen floor, implying
eat around it,
relatively clean.
Right, but then what's going to happen after 5 seconds? The bacteria is sat there with a watch, being like, "Whoa, wait there, lads, not allowed to go for it yet."
No, bacteria respects the rule.
You're so hard to argue with, and it upsets me.
Right, but why would the bacteria? Like, do you think bacteria increases that rapidly? Well, if there's bacteria on the floor, it would chase towards the food to digest it. No, no, wouldn't it? No. I mean, no, I don't think bacteria is really that rapid. You think it'd sniff it out from the other side of your kitchen and dive towards it?
I don't know if bacteria can sniff.
Holy, I think I may have found it. Hold on, I may have found it.
Okay.
The 5-second rule, as we know it today, has murky origins. In the book, Did You Just Eat That? By food scientist Paul Dawson and microbiologist Brian Sheldon, traces the origins to the legends around Genghis Khan. The Mongol ruler is
the 5-second rule is not to do with Genghis Khan.
The Mongol ruler is rumored to have implemented the Khan rule at his banquets. If food fell on the floor, it could stay there as long as Khan allowed. And the idea was that food prepared for Khan was so special that it would be good for anyone to eat, no matter what. In reality, people had little basic knowledge of microorganisms and their relationship to human illness until much later in our history. Thus, eating drop food was probably not taboo before we came to this understanding. People could not see the bacteria, so they thought wiping off any visible dirt made everything fine. Well, I don't know what this guy's talking about. Science be damned. Wipe the dirt off. You're okay.
He's actually saying that it doesn't matter.
People back then probably had better immune systems, right? If you survived the early years of your and you actually grew to an adult, you probably were pretty healthy. You're pretty good.
I don't think so. No, I don't think that. I mean, potentially their immune systems might be a little bit better, but I think a lot of there were just way more diseases because people didn't understand how to keep things clean, keep the water system separated from
like it's not like they were cleaning their hands before they were cooking.
Yeah,
back then.
True.
And they didn't have antibiotics, so if you got an infection, you were screwed. So, like, I don't know how you would even be able to compare immune systems.
I'd like to go back to an earlier discussion, if that's okay.
Sure.
It's an idea that popped into my head when your family were calling you rat boy.
Yes.
I think there was a defining moment in everyone, right? I don't know. Maybe I'm speaking for all of you. But when you're a kid, like, there's a period where you're just under the assumption that adults just know better. And like they've been around in the world, so they're more wise.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And usually quite mature as well. You just associate age with maturity in a lot of the senses. But there's a turning point, I think, when you get into your teens, when you realize, actually, no, there's some adults that are just man children or women children. They just haven't really, their brains have never expanded past the age of 13. They've always remained that way. Because you saying that of your, I mean, I'm sure your aunt is a lovely woman, but it spun up some memories in my mind of family members doing dumb shit at the time and thinking, well, that's kind of dumb, but I mean, they're an adult, so they must be okay with it. And then a couple of years later, reflecting on it, being like, no, that's why we don't invite that family member out to anything. because actually, they're just a lost cause. They haven't developed their humanity. They haven't evolved.
Developed their humanity.
Yeah,
dude, I actually agree. I actually agree with that. My family's like nuts. So
what were some moments then that made you notice that? Because I'm thinking, and I can't really remember anything that I didn't notice at the time that ended up being outrageous. But my family also keeps secrets from the children.
Right. I have a family member. I'm not going to say who they are, but they just come out with claims, and they're just actually absurd. But like early on in your you just don't really question it too much, because I think learning to question your surroundings is something that's gained a little bit later on. When you're early, it's much easier to indoctrinate children early, is what I found out by growing up in a Catholic environment. So if you want to try and get them hooked on some sort of cult or anything like that, begin young, and then that way they're less likely to move off until they develop some critical thinking, and then you just kind of like work it out of them. But there's just a couple of instances, and I'm not even going to say the exact times as well where it's happened or some specific examples, but it's just definitely occurred. Like when I was 11, I would look at it and I'd be like, oh, it's a bit weird, but I guess it's okay because, you know, my parents, my mum's not really calling them out. But then I realized, actually, you don't really call out family members. You just let them be weird, and then you just don't invite them to anything. Yeah. But yeah, and it's not even that as well. I remember just being able to pick up on false people. There was a turning point in my life where I was able to detect when people were being false. Pretty. There's a particular memory in my mind. When I was a kid, I always just thought they were being super friendly and quite nice. But the older I got, the more I realized that there's some people that are just snaky. You know what I mean?
Oh yeah.
And you can just sense it. They're just like it's a fake smile. Their mouth smiles, but their eyes don't, and they're just pretending. And I was like, there's a couple of family members that I've got that are like that, and I'm just like, I realized when I was around 14, 15 that I was like, you're just not really leading on how you actually feel about a lot of this.
So as far as like family members that are not like you look at me like, really? You're an adult? Like that happened a bunch. Like I said, like my my like, you know, my aunt and uncle out in upstate New York were like super crazy. Like they would just do things, and I would like hear about them years later. I'm like, what? You know, as like a child, I didn't know because I wasn't aware of what they were doing. But as an adult, I caught wind of it, and it just like blew my mind away, like some of the things that I had heard. So then I realized, like, yeah, you know, maybe I am, you know, approaching this whole life thing in a better way than I think that a lot of people even in my immediate family are, you know, kind of not doing. So I think there's that, but also like as far as like I've never had the issue with any of my family members like coming off as like, you know, like weird or fake or whatever. Thankfully I've never had that issue because Puerto Ricans are like super upfront with like everything, and they'll just straight up yell at you if you're doing something dumb. So that's kind of, honestly, it sounds funny, but it's the solution to everything. It's either we punch everything or we yell at everything, and in one way or another, it's going to work.
Much like the Irish.
Yeah. We're basically the brown Irish, and the Irish are the white Puerto Ricans. So there you go. So there's that. But I will say that there are times where like in esports where I would talk to people and I would just hear them, and I'm just like, okay, all right. Okay,
sure.
You know, like I always try and be as like nice as possible, and always try and like give people like the time of day, and because I never think that I'm better than anyone else. It's only an asshole thinks that. So I talk to people and as much as I possibly can, but then there's some times where I would talk to people, and it usually comes down to once they start talking about being the ESPN of esports, then I'm like, you know that ESPN esports exists, right? And they'll just be like, yeah, but you know what I mean. Yes, carry on. And then, you know, and then I'll continue to hear them, and I'm like, and then I'm like, okay, well, that's that. And then, you know, find out, you know, like 5 months later, they shifted all their business to a cryptocurrency, and it's like, oh, okay, yeah, that makes sense. Yep. So that's kind of more or less what I've experienced working in this world, because now that esports is getting so big, we have all these people coming in from entertainment that like have no idea, like and this is the thing that worries me, by the way, about esports, is that we are like, I truly believe that like even like the four of us here, right, are truly like the last of a dying breed in esports, of people that grew up in the trenches of working in ballrooms or crappy restaurants with terrible internet connection, running tournaments, you know, going out to community events. Like now everything's like very different. But back in the day, man, you had to like, you made this shit work somehow. So there was no analyst desk. Like I remember when I had my first analyst desk at an event, I was like, oh, I get to throw to an analyst desk after I'm done. That's cool. That's great. That's amazing. I don't have to fill for, you know, God knows how long. And that, cause that was it. That was esports.
Or the alternative was throw it to an hour timer.
Or an hour timer. Or no, or maybe
update the timer.
Maybe not even a
You
timer.
didn't even have a
just
timer.
A blank
We don't
screen,
know.
Just a picture.
Whenever with some like royalty-free EDM music. Actually, at the time, it wouldn't even be royalty-free. You'd just be using copyrighted music.
Oh, for sure.
Nobody would be checking. But
I remember I did an event one time and I said, hey, do we have like a timer to put up? Because it's been like 45 minutes. And the guy's like, sorry, man, I don't have that. And I was like,
I used to, some of my first gigs were for DreamHack, and they were sponsored by Monster Cat.
Oh yeah, Monster Cat came in huge.
Love that. Yep. Good times, dubstep every break.
Yeah. That's great.
Damn, dubstep every break as well.
Yeah,
I don't miss that.
Actually, one of the big things, I don't know, this sounds so dumb, but just like when we started working in the Overwatch League and we would have like actually like decent music in the breaks, I was just like, this is so cool. We have like orchestra music during the breaks. I was just like, this is legit.
I'll tell you
cool
what,
screens and then there's good music.
I quickly got sick of the Overwatch music though.
I started dreaming about it.
Yeah, I know. As soon as you listen
to it. For me, it was
like,
the World Cup. When I was working the World Cup, and that was like every break, it was like, and then in my ear, it would always be Rachel and Zoe. That's what I remember. Rachel and Zoe in China. And Rachel every single time is just like, and then she'll be done right as it comes to the desk. So it's like I'm like about to lose my shit laughing, and then she's just mimicking this song, and then it just got ingrained in my brain.
Yeah, I mean it's an incredible score, but when you have it play all the time,
it's like the loading screen in Overwatch now, or well, it was before. Whenever you open the game, which is like Sigma, just like, what's that melody? And just heard a melody, and I was like, oh, I was losing my mind, dude.
Yeah, you were becoming Sigma.
How did we get here? How did we get to Overwatch music?
I'll tell you what, though, I've got talking of like companies being crazy or like blowing smoke up their own asses, like the ESPN of esports stuff. I saw an amazing video today, and it was published in April of this year, and it's a video of Staples, the company, unveiling their logo.
I saw this, but I was waiting for you to bring it up.
All right,
I want to watch this.
All right, count it down.
It's phenomenal.
I got it ready.
It's really, though, it gives me esports vibes. And I think it's because it's so ridiculous and they're making such a big pomp out of it that it's just mind-blowing to me. I don't know whether this is a goof or what. I've not checked to see whether this is actually correct, but
this is BitConnect levels.
I mean, it's just funny whether or not it's true. So I don't really care.
Let's see it.
All right, I'm gonna play it in 3, 2, 1, go. This reminds me of an esports event where they are announcing some big thing for them,
like a chair
Bro, this is like the opening of a show, and then out of nowhere I walk out on stage.
Yeah. I've had to lower the dramatic music.
To be ridiculous?
I have no idea. I mean, it's gotta be. It's so ridiculous that it becomes comedic, so it must... The person who made this must have known. I mean, look, they zoom in on the Staples logo, and the staple just slowly uncurls.
No.
And 2 people clap. 2 people in the audience are like, oh, am I supposed to enjoy that? Then there's a galaxy explodes.
What is going on? It's just Staples. No, that's their logo?
Yeah, and that's their new logo, apparently. And then people are like, someone in the front starts clapping and telling people to stand up, and then there's a forced standing ovation for the new Staples logo.
Yo, corporate America's wild.
Oh, and then they hired some actors to start cheering as well and coming on the stage.
I think those are Staples employees. Probably the design team.
Stop clapping! I hate this!
Yeah.
Oh, it's so dumb.
Yo, I'm genuinely like...
I hate big companies.
It's just the fact that they took the L and then bent it. That was the funniest thing to it. Like, if you go to at like what 30 seconds into the video, this was hands down the funniest thing I'd ever seen.
Yeah,
like
it's
and everyone's like, what? They're all blown away, and then out of nowhere, space.
Yes.
I don't think this is satirical.
It should be.
This is quite literally a paid audience.
But corporations are like this. They're so separate from normal people that this is like there's a PR department somewhere for Staples that's like, this is what the humans like, and they've done this. I mean, I can relate to it because I've been a part of a couple of companies and organizations, and this is how PR people think. They're like, this will really connect with our audience.
Yeah, I just thought that was phenomenal.
I mean, it works. The marketing works because people are talking about it.
Because it's so terrible.
Yeah, like this isn't making me go to Staples and spend money there. Like, regardless, if I needed a freaking stapler, I'd go. You know, like
they don't just sell staplers, Alex.
Yeah.
Well, that's all I go there for. I don't go there for anything else. No. I lie. I bought a chair from there one time and it broke in 6 months.
We haven't even discussed this yet, but you are the biggest boomer imaginable. I can totally believe that you go to Staplers to buy staples. No, wait. Okay. Staples to buy staplers. Where is this tweet that you posted earlier?
Okay. We all need to stop. All right. So in case you guys aren't aware, all right, I've been having some computer issues.
Oh, I'm fully aware, you boomer.
Okay.
Go on. Try. Come on.
I found it. Yeah, I've got it right here. I'm going to bring it up. Okay.
Oh my God.
Defend this tweet, Alex. Okay. You are using a rage comic emote.
What's wrong with it? I was raging.
Was it 10 years ago that these were actually still out of fashion but used by kids?
Yes, because I remember. Yes, I remember it being 2011. Sat in my computing class and finding a way to get around Reddit because, again, I'm an elite hacker. I'm an elite programmer. I got around the filters. Let's be real. It was me a child's play for someone like me, and exploring the latest and greatest memes and just looking at the rage comment section. Or they used to call them rage comics, and just thinking, these peasants who are looking at this, and here's you. I find it's almost gone full circle, so it's almost in fashion again to use rage comics. That's you haven't intended for that to be the reason. It's not ironic. You're just using it because you are a boomer.
In the year of our Lord 2019, your man's out here putting food.
Let's calm it down. One, okay. I'm a trendsetter. I'm a taste maker. I'm a global icon, and I'm a national motherfucking treasure. Okay.
True.
So because of these 4 things, if I deem it appropriate to tweet a rage comment or comic, whatever, I totally can. Because here's the thing. All right. I have been having so many problems with my fucking computer that if I want to tweet a freaking rage comic, I don't know why I said freaking there when I've been cursing this whole time. If I want to put that, I can. But because my buddy Richard Sims, who I cast Halo with, is out here telling me that he's pumping out 6 to 9% usage while gaming with the RTX freaking codec, and he's got a 7700K. Meanwhile, I'm freaking going live. I'm recording shit, and my CPU and GPU is like through the roof. And I got a 2080 Ti and an 8700.
Do your fans work?
It's racist. It's racist. It's not. That's what it is.
You're a boomer. That's what it is.
I'm not a boomer.
You're a boomer. You're a boomer. I'm actually shocked that nobody called you out on it on social media other than me. It's like there's a separation here, and you have no idea. But there's a glacial separation between us.
I can't keep up with the amount of shit that you guys put out there. Like, for example, Alwyn's out here every single time for some freaking reason, just putting minion dance on every tweet.
I muted that guy instantly.
Yeah, that's when you try to force a meme.
I like that guy's every tweet.
Okay, Johnny can join Goldenboy on the other side of the
on Boomer Island.
On Boomer Island. Boomer Island. You can enjoy the minion memes over there in the Boomer section of Walmart. Go grab your little remote controlled pedal bike, whatever the fuck they're called. I don't know.
Why don't you like it?
What do you call them? Go grab.
Why don't you like it?
Why don't I like minion memes? Because I'm not a Facebook 40-year-old mum.
It's just a dance meme.
It's a dance. It's just all it is.
It's like Pepe dance. It's like, why don't you like the Pepe dance emote on Twitch? It's just
minion memes are the thing that my grandmother sends me in emails.
Forward. You'll really love this, Barbara. Minion meme.
Yes. Yeah.
Sometimes I just need some support on social media, and he gives me that, and I'm very proud and happy.
There's no support. He's just trying to farm clout by forcing a meme.
Look, he's never gonna get anywhere with this. So I just
he already is. You're already giving him too much time.
We're talking about it.
He's been
all over
part of the podcast.
Yeah, this is his moment, and I give him that because he's dedicated to his craft.
Yeah, well, I mean, calling it a craft is that's quite a stretch, isn't it?
Yeah, he's put notifications on our profile so he knows when we tweet, and then he spams the minion dance.
Dude, here's the thing though, that I jumped into a Vastus stream for the finals to watch New York get rolled, which was the most heartbreaking thing.
That's your first mistake.
That was my first. So I jumped in because ZP's like messaging me aggressively, and he's just like, "You gotta join us."
That's never happened before. I'm amazed that ZP was aggressively messaging you.
And well, actually, no. This time though, well, he messaged me. Okay, rewind. The other day when New York was playing Vancouver, he messages me like 5 times on DMs, and he's just like, "You got to join the Vast chat right now." I'm on my way to the airport. Right. And I'm like, hey, Z, I can't because I'm in an Uber going to the airport. He then responds with, so then just call in from Discord. It's not a big deal. And I was like, I'm with my wife. We're having conversations. I can't do this. Anyway, next day I was like, all right, well, I'll indulge it. I've never been a part of this. So let me just, this seems fun. So I went into chat and I was like, yo, add me. And then, you know, his chat just started spamming what face, obviously best emo on Twitch, hands down.
Sure.
And then I join in. And then the amount of, like, just the way that they were talking and then the chat and everything, and even your chat the same way too, Josh. Like, I think I am old. I genuinely do think that I am Overwatch's boomer. Like, it has to be me and Puckett.
Yeah, you're the little boomer uncle.
Yeah, I think we're just the boomers of this game, and I accept my boomer status. Okay, I do, I truly do. But here's the thing, okay, Bren, I'm allowed to post this shit because my computer's been a freaking asshole. All right, so
the technology doesn't have thoughts. The problem is always with the user.
No, it's not. Dude, I refuse to believe this.
There's always something that the user has done wrong.
I was talking to Dizzy. I said this before we went live. I was talking to Dizzy, and granted, he's like rolling with like some i9, like 20,000 million K or whatever, right? But he's out here streaming Apex, medium preset, and barely hitting his CPU at freaking 30%. How? Like,
I mean, I don't. The only thing I can convey from this topic is your dedication and frustration. Like, this is pure emotion coming out. Like, this is not an interesting topic, but it's just pure emotion, just sheer anger coming out from Goldenboy.
It's totally an interesting topic, Johnny. Screw you.
That's what I appreciate. That it's just, this is such a genuine podcast because it's Goldenboy's genuine anger and frustration.
Over here trying
Goldenboy, I used to have a job helping people like you in Tesco.
Yeah.
Okay.
What was your average age of people that you helped, Bren?
60 to 70.
Yeah, so people exactly like Alex.
Yeah. But even younger.
He's losing it.
Some people. I mean, I consider Alex to be reasonably technologically competent, but just your lack of control of this situation leads me to believe otherwise. Because
I mean, this is like Puckett. Puckett didn't know how to put a bloody SSD into his PC. He broke his PC trying to put an SSD in there.
Trying to put an SSD in.
It's console boomers. That's what it is. Console boomers. Just never.
You clearly never had to build a PC before.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm sorry that when I was growing up in the Bronx, I was dodging bullets and drugs. And I was dealing with crime. All right,
get that privilege.
Get that privilege out of here.
Get the fuck out of here with privilege. I grew up in fucking Glockster. They used to develop the fucking Glock 18s in there, you little bitch. Listen to me. I don't want to hear that fucking excuse. My first PC, I spent $500 on it, equivalent in UK pounds, and I got it for Christmas, and I built it myself, and I was the happiest lad on earth. My mum has pictures of me, 14-year-old, skinny little rat boy Bren, sitting on the kitchen table on Christmas Day, building my first PC.
How old were you?
Don't give me that shit, like 14.
14. Yeah.
Building my first PC and installing Skyrim. Christmas, and I played 14 hours of Skyrim. You were
14 years old when Skyrim came out.
That can't be true, right? Bren.
Yeah,
you were 14 when you played Bren, Skyrim.
How old are you?
Skyrim came out when I was 16.
Bren, how old are you?
Bren was 15.
I'm 23.
Oh my! Oh,
wait, when is your birthday? In December?
I was 8 years ago.
Josh,
I would have been 14, 15.
Skyrim came out in 2011.
Yeah, I would have been 14, 15.
Josh, how old are you?
I'm 25. 25.
You look like you're 30. But anyway, Johnny, how old are you? I know you're like 19 or some shit.
Yeah.
Yo, maybe I am. Maybe I am a boomer. Maybe no. I think that's what it is. Because I'm 31. Okay.
Yeah. Yo, you're preaching boomer territory. Like Doa's already gone past that point. He's not even here to defend himself. I'll throw some shade in his direction because I know he probably can't get the computer working anyway to listen to this. So let's be real. Let's be real. Even true. Let's be real here. I hope he doesn't take offense to this, but I know
The Elder Scrolls
Skyrim
is the fourth best-selling Xbox 30 game. 13.7 million copies sold.
There's just I've never felt old, and now I feel old.
I've brought up a literal picture of Goldenboy. I didn't realize that they modeled Principal Skinner after you, actually. Am I out of touch? No. It's the children who are wrong. Oh, yes. It's just exactly. So that's a Simpsons one because I know that you'll appreciate that because you're a boomer.
When are they releasing the new Elder Scrolls?
So that sucks because I love the Simpsons. It's actually.
I'm gonna be real with you, Goldenboy. Luckily, you got us to be the bridge because otherwise, you'd be done. You'd be gone to dust on the wind.
Oh, dude.
We can be the bridge that connects you to the youth of today.
Real talk though, right? Puckett grew up landing Xbox, OGs, right? He didn't grow up with PCs. Yeah. Same here. I didn't grow up with PCs.
Neither did I. I grew up with consoles as well. What's your point?
You were 14, bro. You just grew up. Calm down.
What's your point? What's your point?
You were 14 3 weeks ago.
Yeah, what's your point?
All right. My point is this.
Get with the times.
Is that
old man?
Yeah, I was 16 when I had my first
PC. The future is now, old man.
See, I didn't get my first PC until I was like 20.
Really?
Yeah, I didn't.
Well, technically, you got your first PC when you got a console.
What are you talking about?
I'm diving into technicalities.
No.
A console has all of the makings of a computer. It has a processor, has a unit that is able to process graphics. It has memory.
Within the confines of this conversation, clearly PC is not the same as a console.
I know, but I'm just really being specific here.
You're being unnecessarily pedantic.
Really I'm flexing my knowledge. I'm flexing my knowledge. My brain right now is expanding. I'm forcing all of the blood into my head.
My God, you talk about boomers. Bren recently bought the most boomer item you can possibly buy.
Yeah, that's a boomer item.
A printer. A printer.
Or a printer.
There is nothing more boomer than a printer. You're living in the age of digital everything, and you've bought something to translate digital back into paper. Like nobody uses paper anymore.
So I have thoughts on this as well.
Everyone should have a printer.
No, there's printers in every office. There's printers at the library. There's printers down in FedEx. There's printers everywhere.
Okay, it's 2019. You're going to the library? Come on. You calling me a boomer? I ain't trying to say. I used to work at the library. I ain't trying to go.
But there's printers at work. He could have just used the work printer.
Or go to FedEx.
Yeah.
I like the fact that I own it. I like the fact that when I eventually get kicked out of the US next year because I don't have a job, I can sell it. and
you like the fact that you can sell it.
No, I just like the fact that I own a printer now, and if I ever need to print out anything like that.
So I have thoughts on this as well, because I was browsing printers like half a year ago and decided not to buy one. But this has to be the most disappointing technological development over the last couple of years, because all of the printers, if you go to Amazon and you type in printers, they're literally they all look like they're still from 1999. There's no modern printers. They're just old printers.
Well, there are.
Cynthia just bought a printer the other day that.
But it's still huge. It's like if you wanted to carry it around, it's like you're going to Mars or some shit.
Yeah.
It's still massive.
It's like
it's a giant.
So many moving parts, right? It's unfortunately the nature of it.
But you spent
but you're telling me we have
$400 on a printer.
Smartphones, but we can't build a small printer.
You spent $400 on a printer?
Yeah,
$400 on a printer.
Bro,
he will use twice.
If you look on Amazon, I bought a printer. It was like $50 or $60.
How did they sell that to you?
50,
like,
right? It was
I did like features, like send emails.
I sold it to myself. Believe it or not.
Okay. But you spent $400.
Yeah, roughly, give or take. Because I used to sell printers when I worked at Tesco's, and I know the ins and outs of them, and I also know how unbloody reliable they are unless you spend money on them. So a lot of the slack that people give printers and like, oh, technology hasn't really advanced, because you're buying shitty printers designed by companies that don't intend on making you a reliable product that's going to last years, because they want you to spend extortionate money on ink cartridges, and then they're going to eventually phase out your ink cartridges, so you have to buy a new $40 printer that's probably going to break 4 times in the year, so you buy more printers.
That $40 printer would have to break 10 times to be able to justify buying a $400
so
printer.
I will not have to change the ink in my LaserJet printer for 2 years.
Yeah, because you'll only use it to print
how much
2
is
things,
ink, dude.
Ink is more expensive than human blood.
Printer ink. Dude, ink costs like $40.
Yes,
it's actually really
expensive. Like $40.
I just told you, ink is more expensive milliliter per milliliter than human blood.
Is that a real quote though? Because I thought you were joking. Why the fuck do you know how much human blood is?
I'm just saying, human blood, widely regarded as a very rare resource.
No, there's 7 billion people in the world. There's a
but
lot
in terms of the amount of people that
blood.
are willing to donate human blood, very small. Okay, it's a rare commodity because people are selfish.
Right.
It's more printer ink is more expensive than that.
What are you printing? Like Johnny's saying, why?
So would you say that having those physical assets at the D&D campaign of our final episode the other day was helpful?
I totally agree. So, Johnny, I think that you having your sheets in front of you was also helpful. Did you buy a $400 printer so that you could have some paper in front of you?
No, I made Mitch print them for me.
Ah, why didn't you just get Mitch to print them, Bren?
Because I want to own a printer.
So
I want to be able to not have to go to a library or ask a friend. I have the disposable income to buy a printer that I know is going to last.
Look around your apartment. You've got gym equipment and a printer, and that's it. That's your entire apartment.
Yeah, and I might not even own it next year because I don't know if I'm going to get a visa.
So
I don't know.
I've linked a website in the document, and it's the 10 most expensive liquids in the world. Human blood is the 10th most expensive liquid at $1,500 a gallon.
Wow.
And then you have black printer ink at $2,700 a gallon at number 8.
Jesus Christ. This is so interesting. Yeah. Okay. So the 10th most expensive
is number 6.
Human blood.
So this is a big reason why I spent money on a LaserJet
Horseshoe
printer.
crab blood, $60,000 a gallon.
It's so weird that there's a list that goes human blood, date rape drug, black printer ink. That is a very strange
Read
trio.
number 4.
Then mercury.
Yeah, horseshoe crab blood.
Insulin.
But yeah,
Chanel number 5.
The reason I bought it was because I know that LaserJet printers are incredibly efficient in terms of the amount of ink they use, and they last for years. They're incredibly reliable if you buy them from a good manufacturer.
Bren, I'm not listening to anything you're saying because I'm reading about horseshoe crabs. Are considered living fossils since they seem to have changed very little in the past 450 million years. and they have milky blue blood that has a unique response to bacterial toxins.
It's very interesting.
So what do they use? They use it in detection, like blood tests.
Milky blue blood. Blue-blooded crabs at heart of pharma dispute on drug testing.
Ah.
If
LSD.
you
didn't buy an LSD
received
printer,
a vaccination, hip replacement, or chemotherapy without suffering toxic shock, chances are you've benefited from a vast bloodletting of horseshoe crabs.
The horseshoe crab population is now threatened to extinction.
Yeah, I saw a few shells when I went to Nantucket on the beach. That was pretty cool. They're pretty dope.
You can't have seen shells of horseshoe crabs, though.
Yeah, like they were dead. And
they're massive. They're really big.
Yeah, but I saw shells.
How do you know? Are you a crab expert? How do you know it wasn't just a normal crab?
It looks pretty unique.
Really?
It's not your typical crab.
Really? Oh, yeah. They do look very unique. They are a weird-looking beast.
They're living fossils. That's what they said.
Huh.
Those are very...
Wow.
Oh, they're only tiny when they're in somebody's hand. But then when they were... What in the... Oh, I guess they grow. I don't know why that sent me for a loop. There's a really small one and a really big one, and I was like, I don't understand how that could be the case. Of course they grow.
So they use this crab's blood for... I don't even know. Something pharmaceutical industry.
It's testing drugs, so it's very good at detecting salmonella and E. coli and different bacteria.
Crap. This turned into a proper Foreheads episode.
Yeah.
We live in a wild world.
I know. I didn't even realize this is a thing. I'm not even looking at it anymore. I'm browsing the classic WoW subreddit. Can we move on?
I think this
am I robotic now, by the way?
Yeah,
you're a little bit robotic.
A little bit robotic.
Yeah.
Wait, Bren, tell us what happened to the package you got from Amazon as well, though, because wasn't that at the same time as the printer?
Oh, is Discord breaking?
No, I can still hear you. It's just Alex.
Alex is dying. I feel bad talking when Alex is dead.
Can we talk about how scorpion venom is used for inflammatory bowel disease?
Do you have more info, or is that the end of the topic?
Let's move on.
I mean, there's not really much to say. I purchased a Switch Pro controller because I'm prepping for when Overwatch comes to the Switch, and a big SD card because I want to download games to my Switch. And for some reason, I've never had this happen, and I get countless deliveries by Amazon to my apartment complex. But the delivery driver just decided to leave it. You know, like in most major cities, I mean, I was unaware of them until I moved to LA because I used to live in Gloucester, and it's a tiny city by most metrics or by most large city standards. But in my apartment complex, I've got like a little thing where the delivery drivers can drop off the stuff in lockers, and I get a code and I can fill it in and I can pick it up whenever. But this Amazon driver was so lazy, or either lazy or incompetent, which, I mean, I know they get paid slave wages, so I'm not too worried about it. And also Amazon just replaced it anyway. But yeah, he decided to just drop it off basically on the side of the street outside my apartment complex with hundreds of apartments in.
That is horrific.
He just left it on the side of the street, on a very busy street in the center of the city that I live in. And decided that was an appropriate place to leave a package.
And so your response was then to tweet, "Oh my word, he has left my very expensive SD card and Switch Pro controller outside my apartment."
Yeah. Because I knew it was going to be robbed regardless. So I might as well just tweet about it. I was like, I'm at work for the next 10 hours. There's no way I'm getting this back in time.
Did you get it?
No, it was disappeared. I did check when I got in at midnight. I walked to the area where I knew he had left it, and I was like, oh, shocker. Yep, it's disappeared.
Yeah.
I was like, it's gone. So thankfully the Amazon customer service is pretty good, and I opened up a little chat with presumably an AI. I wouldn't be able to differentiate between it and a human anymore. It's gotten too advanced. And they immediately ordered a replacement, and it came the next day.
Yeah.
Jeez.
Nice.
Am I sounding better now, by the way?
Yes, yeah, it's fixed. It's just a temporary issue. I think it would be really interesting to... I personally enjoy the idea of hiding packages for people. Like when you can't get into their apartment complex, I would leave like a little scavenger hunt for the person.
You would get fired immediately. How
would that be a fireable offense? I mean, presumably that guy didn't get fired for just leaving yours outside. I'd be setting up things. I'd be making great PR for the delivery company.
He might have been fired.
Right, but it's safer if you set up a scavenger hunt, because if somebody picks up the first clue and it says 1 of 29 clues, this will lead you on a 3-mile scavenger hunt.
Firstly, yes, I'm gonna go down this little path that you're going down just to amuse you. Sure. Okay. I'm gonna go along with you for the slightest bit of seconds. But let's think about this. One, I imagine you get paid to deliver a set amount of packages per day. Yeah. You have like a requirement, right?
Probably, yeah.
So you would spend time out of those minutes, those precious minutes, creating a scavenger hunt for each individual package.
Only the ones where I couldn't get into the apartment. So I imagine that must only be a couple a day.
You'd be surprised.
Right, but they wouldn't even have to be elaborate. They wouldn't even have to be like 29. But if you hide a clue, no one's going to steal a clue. And then what you do is you hide a clue that's like a riddle that they have to solve, and it's actually hidden in the bush opposite like some farmer's market buried 3 feet beneath the ground. But they figure that out with like a map that you leave with a riddle that they have to solve and then an X mark in the spot.
And how also, would you develop these riddles and maps? You would take time?
I would spend most of my day thinking about it.
Yeah, so you
because
wouldn't actually
otherwise it's quite a boring job. I'd be delivering parcels and just reading like, oh, I need to go to 100 West Boulevard, and I'd toddle down there and I'd deliver my packages.
You would get fired immediately.
What for thinking on the job?
Yes.
Yes. You gotta be a drone.
They are currently in the process of figuring out how to replace you with drones.
Yeah, well, drones can't make riddles and hide things in cool places.
I don't care.
Or so you think. AI. Clearly,
I would be able to eventually. But here's the thing:
it would go viral. It would bang.
Most people with those demeaning jobs. When I worked at Tesco's and I hated my life, we got through it by being sleep deprived, and we would over caffeinate, and it would give you some sort of high while you were at work. That's how we dealt with our issues.
Yeah, I over caffeinated before the episode, and half the episode I would just spend like floating away in the distance.
But I would regularly come to work at Tesco's. What I would do would be I would sleep probably 5 hours the night before, and I would barely wake up. I wouldn't wash my uniform because I didn't give a fuck about the job. So I would have to. It would take me 2 hours to get to work because I'd have to walk to the bus station, which took me 30 minutes. I'd have to catch one bus, get off, and then catch another one. So I would get to work 2 hours later, ready for my shift at 9 on the dot, and I would just be a barely functioning human being. There were multiple instances where I collapsed in the street on the way to work.
No, really?
Yes.
You collapsed, you fainted on the way to work in the morning before you'd even done any of your job because you were sleep deprived.
Sleep deprived, and it was very warm, so particularly in the summer. What I would do would be I was kind of like, at the time, again, riddled with these mental health issues. I was self-conscious about working at Tesco's, so I would wear a hoodie. This is where my brain was at the time, to hide the fact that I was in a Tesco uniform, and it would be peak summer, and it would be super warm quite early on in the morning, and I would be sometimes running for the bus because, again, I would never leave on time, so I'd be running to catch the bus to make sure I wasn't late,
right?
And I would just be dehydrated, sleep deprived, and overheating, and I would just collapse in the street. This happened multiple times.
That's horrific, Bren. Actually horrific.
Yeah. That's crazy. I actually witnessed people in San Francisco when I was working at Twitch. There's this train line called the BART. It's like Bay Area Rapid Transit.
Did they name it after the Simpsons?
Yeah. Well, see, look, boomer topics still come up on this podcast. So anyway, we're in the train. It was me and Cynthia. We were both going to work because she like worked a few stops ahead of where I got off at, and multiple times, like that train would be in the summer unbearably hot. There's just no air conditioner, and because San Francisco was actually not built for the amount of people that live there currently, the transit is not set up for like the millions of people that they transport every day, or hundreds of thousands. I'm making a number up, but it's a fuck ton of people, right? So anyway, and it like basically in New York, for example, right? If you take the subway and the train breaks, right, or like the track breaks for whatever reason, there's always going to be a route to go around it. In San Francisco, there is no route to go around it. You have to like exit the train, hop on a bus, take the bus on the freeway, get off of the next stop, hop on the train again, and continue on your way to your next destination, because there is no like rerouting. So anyway, so we would be in the train for like an hour. It would take us to get to work, or maybe like 45 minutes, 50 minutes, depending. Like, dude, it happened at least 4 times in the summer. A lady was like in the corner, and she was just flat out just dropped. It was like so scary. I was like, is this his zombie apocalypse? Is this like
they would just drop?
Yeah, they would just drop down, like just drop on the floor. Just like knees would give out, and because they're standing, because there was nowhere to sit, right? So then they would just freaking. I would always carry water with me when I would leave my house. And then I got you because just have water, like, you know.
I thought you meant to give to the ladies. You'd start handing out like little bits of water on the train.
It became a thing where like I just carried water because you never knew if you were going to run into someone who fall like or collapse out of dehydration on the.
That's
train.
Amazing.
Bro, it was wild.
I used to faint a lot. Actually, I say a lot. I fainted twice in my medicine, what do you call them, classes, because they would have them at Tuesday at 9 a.m. and we would all just get hammered on the Monday nights. I can't exactly remember why Monday nights was a thing. And we come in really hungover to these meetings, super dehydrated. It would be really warm because they're keeping bodies in formaldehyde in there, and we were doing like you know, dissection classes. So we had to be stood up the entire time. There was no chairs in the room. And then there's this powerful smell of like formaldehyde and death. And the death was us because we were that hungover. It wasn't even the bodies. And people would drop like flies. You'd see like 1 or 2 people faint in most classes. And it got me twice.
Thank God you didn't graduate.
Why?
I would, if I saw you as my doctor, I'd run away.
You wouldn't, because you wouldn't know that I was a terrible person. I'd just look like the big, large craniumed fool in the corner.
So
that's true. I probably, at first impression, I probably would take you for smart. Exactly. And then I'd smell you and just be like, no.
Smell me?
I'd be like come into the doctor's office and just be like, oh, that doesn't smell good. I'm out.
Yeah.
I don't smell right.
Yeah, that doesn't smell right.
Or it could just be Bren, you know, in his Tesco uniform. Just
it's a bit too much alcohol for my taste.
God, in another world, Bren could have been delivering me Tesco sandwiches to a hospital while I cut open Johnny. Because he got on a skiing accident in the middle of Birmingham.
Yep. That's exactly what happened.
You have snow in Birmingham.
Delivering sandwiches.
Is that not what Tesco does?
I don't think so.
You could build a computer you're operating with.
That's true. Yeah, I always use computers to operate on people.
Where would you be?
Soon AI is going to do it.
I don't know how long we have on this episode, but where would you be?
I think we're like done.
If it wasn't for esports. No, seriously, like what would you be doing?
Who?
All you guys.
Oh,
like if you never found out about esports
at all.
I think, well, it would be quite depressing.
I'd be a very successful student, I think, if I hadn't spent my time wasting it in esports.
I'd be an engineer for a power plant.
I think I would be dead.
Nuclear power plant.
You'd be dead?
I think I'd be dead. Yes.
I think I'd probably still be a social.
I feel like we glanced over Bren's I would be dead.
Yeah, Bren, why would you be dead? I really...
No, let's... do we want to cover this?
Because esports got me out of my my deepest depression. Do you think discovering esports?
Do you think, though, that you would have discovered something else? Were you in a position where you were just, like, kind of clamoring for some kind of purpose and esports was the thing you latched onto? Or was it actually like that did it?
Well, esports was one of the first things in a very long time that I was passionate for. I don't know if I would have found something else that I was passionate for.
Yeah, fair.
So it was either esports or drugs.
Pretty much. I mean, a lot of people turn to drugs, but esports are my drugs, baby. All I need is those lower bracket runs, fam.
Inject
straight up
into my veins.
Right into the veins.
Right into the veins. Show me those lower bracket runs.
Oh, dear
but no,
God.
it was it was at the time I was at the lowest point in my life, and I got into playing TF2 and commentating TF2.
Oh, would you look at that? A success story.
That's when I started getting into esports actually as well. Was when I was feeling really depressed. But I think I was already spending a lot of time playing video games. I just wasn't involved in the esports side of it.
I would know. I know that I would still be playing video games because I really, really, really like video games.
Yeah.
And like nothing would ever really pull me away from it. The thing was that even as a kid, I always knew that this is what I wanted to do, one way, shape, or form. Like I didn't know what it was, I just knew that I wanted to do it, and that was it. Like I'd get to my issues of EGM magazine in the mail or Game Informer or stuff like that, and I read them, and I'm like, oh my god, this is so cool. Or like I would see it. Like I was playing games since I was really, really young.
Yeah.
So I would like to think that video games actually like.
Were you born before video games were invented?
Oh, look at that smirk from Josh. He knows what he was doing. He knows what he was doing.
I'm actually that wasn't even a joke.
Millennials, okay.
I had a pretty lonely childhood, but I can't figure out if it was because I found video games which made me lonely because I played video games instead of hanging out with people, or if I still would have been like lonely without video games and just been at my own house. Because I'm like, when I was in high school, I could have just gone out drinking every weekend with my classmates and stuff. But I was like, no, I'm going to go home and play video games. And so I became lonely. I was like, if there was no video games, I might just become like your random high school alcoholic.
Yeah, well, I mean, I'm glad, 2 years ago you made the right decision, Johnny.
Great times. Love it. I didn't really make a decision.
Oh, Lord, help us all. All right, is that it? Are we good?
I think we're good.
I'm sweating to death.
Do we have one more thing to talk about? Do we want to talk
Turn on the
about
AC,
it?
Bren.
What, you mean the live show?
Yeah.
Sure. Yeah, we should.
All right, let's talk about it. So we'll see if this happens. As I mean, I hate to preface it like that. So all signs are pointing to yes, this is going to happen. Ideally, it would happen Thursday next week.
Yeah, Thursday the 26th
in Philadelphia. You could join us for the Platheads, I guess is what we'll call it. We don't even have a name for it. But it'll be all four of us as well as Mr. X, as Mr. X had attack onto the Foreheads because Foreheads is so successful. So that would be the plan. Space is limited, and once we know that the tickets go on sale, we will actually they'll be affordable, and they're only going to be 100 tickets because it's a small venue. And if we don't sell out like online immediately, we'll still sell at the door.
Yep.
But yeah, so it's happening. We're doing the Foreheads live show in Philadelphia right before the Overwatch League finals. And
once in a lifetime. Maybe because
once
we
in a
won't sell
lifetime.
enough tickets.
Yeah. We're all paying for it. So if you don't come, just know that each and every one of you are a bad person.
Yeah.
And clearly you want to see us on the street. This is all toward our goal of ultimately, it's kind of weird. We're going backwards because our goal is to become super rich and make money off of this thing, but we're actually spending money on it. So we're already at a net. We're already like pretty much going into this.
Well, we're already at a net loss anyway because we spent money on the branding and the images.
That's true. Yeah. So we're already losing.
This is
money
not
on this
helping.
thing.
It doesn't matter. I just like doing it, to be honest. At this point,
it's something to keep Bren occupied on.
It's like
keep him from going to Tesco.
I'm down to sink $1,000 in this every year to just keep it going. You know,
it's like if you meet a stranger at a bar, they're like, "Oh, what do you do?" And I'm like, "I do the Foreheads. That's why I do this podcast." Yeah, it gives me something to live for. It's what I do.
Oh my god,
that's incredible. Your raison d'être.
So you guys got to tweet at us, let us know if you're coming to the Overwatch League finals and you are interested. Please tweet at us. Use that hashtag Foreheads. You can also comment on YouTube as well. We read all the comments and stuff. Also do a review if you want to review the we're gonna do this live somehow. This is gonna work, and it may actually be pretty good.
I think we should have a review board in person so that people can leave us certain star level reviews.
What, like a whiteboard where people can write their own reviews?
That's such a good idea. They can just write reviews for us.
Yep.
Yeah, and then we'll hang it in Johnny's heaven room. That's what we'll do. We'll hang it in Johnny's.
I don't know. It's not that holy.
I feel very angelic behind today.
Yeah, that works out.
Mine's like gray. Cool. I'm like stuck in what's the in between hell and heaven? What's it called?
Purgatory.
Yeah, where we are right now.
Yes, exactly.
Also, merchandise is coming. So we are just the four of us as a unit suck at doing things. So because of that,
give yourself some credit. It's just me. Listen, I never
execute. It's just Bren. Yeah,
I never execute. The three of you are actually pretty good at executing ideas. Me, just let them sit there and fester for a while until people forget.
Yeah.
Okay. Give yourself even more credit. All right.
So just so you guys know, when we put when I sent the first drafts of the first designs for the shirts, Bren's feedback was the most useless thing he could possibly have.
No, it wasn't. I don't think so.
Because you just realized Bren dresses like a fuckboy, and then that's it. That's
Dude,
just
I am the most fashionable out of all of us. I'll be real.
No, that is not remotely
that's
true.
not
Have you
true at
seen
all.
me? Come on, dude.
Dude, anyone who wears graphic tees, get them out, which is the three of you. So I think
I'm sorry that I'm at home
right now.
Let's get it popping, bro.
And that's
there's a reason why I bang. Listen, there's a reason why I bang with the gay demographic so damn well. It's because I'm fashionable, okay? Listen, I come out swinging. You still got some growing up to do, but that's okay, all right? I'm just trying to educate out here.
Are you sure it's not because you're wearing spandex and you're actually coming out swinging?
I've provided you some valuable feedback. And if you choose to not listen to it,
we've listened
because your own ego, then I don't know. Maybe you might just lose one part of this boy band.
Shut it off, Alex. Shut it off. His ego's getting to him. He's threatening to break up the boy band. This has got to end.
I can't believe this is where we're gonna end this episode. Right before our live show, Bren's gonna threaten to break up the boy band.
We'll just get Matt involved instead.
Yeah, that works out.
I get kicked out of Plat Chat. Just Goldenboy replaces me on Plat Chat, and Matt replaces me on Four Heads.
It's genius.
Yeah. There we go. Done. Oh dear God. All righty. So that's going to do it for us. Once again, guys, if you want to, leave a like or follow on for all of us on Twitter, but most importantly, leave the review on Apple Podcasts. You can also, I think there's things you do on Spotify and wherever it is you listen to platforms or podcasts on platforms. Do your thing. Give us love. We want to become super famous. And that is basically going to do it for us. Thank you so much for watching, listening. We'll see you in the next one. Maybe in Philadelphia, maybe not. We'll find out. Peace.